Alrighty. Well, good afternoon. Our very last 1061 lecture. Chapter 10, Mastering Chemistry, is due on Tuesday night at 11:59 p.m. Okay, make sure to get that finished. Our final exam is on Wednesday. We've talked about that quite a bit already, so we won't go through too much of that, other than make sure, if you have not yet, please go to Content Handouts, print out the final exam study guide. Have a really close look through that, because that will give you plenty of information about how to be preparing for this final exam, which is especially important for several reasons. Yeah, there it is, right there, Final Exam Study Guide. The final exam is different from our other exams, right? It's 70 multiple choice questions in 110 minutes. So prepare yourself just, sort of for that type of question. There shouldn't be too many surprises, although there probably are a couple of questions on there that went through things that we didn't cover, and that's okay. That's sort of to be expected. The grading on the final exam is based off of a national standard, so no one classroom is going to cover every last little bit of things from general chemistry. So our students typically the average on this is right around the average of our other exams, maybe a point or two higher than our other exams. And the other reason why, other than this being a final exam, you need to take this very seriously is because the percent that you get on this, after it's been adjusted for that standardization, the percent that you get on this replaces your one lowest exam score previously. So assuming that there's some improvement, and most students in a class like this will do better on their final exam than at least one of their other exams. So that will be a replacement. So try to work extra hard on making sure that you're well prepared for this. Try to prepare for the right thing, because obviously if it's 70 multiple choice questions in 120 minutes, they're not going to be big, huge calculation problems. There are going to be some short calculations that you'll have to do, but overall it'll have a much larger conceptual basis to it than some of the other things that we've done. So look very carefully through your previous exams. Look especially carefully through the multiple choice questions, right, where the conceptual issues kind of come out. Look very carefully through the exams 1, 2, and 3 study guides that I put, that are essentially lists of concepts. You should be able to go through those and kind of check those off, based on what you know about them and what kind of problems you've worked in, questions you've answered based on those. And then also go through this final exam study guide that gives you sort of a slightly more general list of topics for you to be working through. Okay? So no programmable calculators are allowed. I do have 7 non-programmable calculators here. Obviously not enough for everybody, so I would highly recommend that you go out and purchase your own non-programmable calculator. Try it out a little bit, make sure that you can run it. You should not have to spend more than $10 at Walgreens or Target or wherever, but it can be 1 line or 2 line. That's fine, but just not graphing. So, who has any questions? Question last time, I think I answered, you will get a periodic table. That's sort of inside the front cover. Any English metric conversions that would be necessary, I don't even know if there are any, but any that would be necessary would be provided for you. No metric conversions are provided for you. You have to be able to, I think you need to know those metric conversions that we've talked about before. So who else has any questions? Anybody? Give yourself from 1:30 to 3:30 to do that. come and talk to me. Maybe after class today would be a good time, and if you have to leave at 3 or something like that, we can get that set up. Okay. Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Alrighty. Well, we've got just, I have to scroll down here. I updated the gradebook inside of Brightspace on last Thursday or Friday, I think. I got everything finished except for specifically what we see here. So these are sort of the rest of the points that probably won't be added until the final gradebook update is in there. But that at least gives you an idea of what's left to be added. So the final exam is worth its own 150 points. Again, like we said, it can also replace your one lowest exam score as well, but it's always worth its own 150 points. 40 points for the presentation and report, so 20 for the presentation, 20 for the report. Probably later this week, I'll be able to get, I'll have a lot more detailed feedback from the presentation than from the report. Because the presentation, I have a way that I do that. It shows the average of the scores from your classmates, and then my scores, and then it lays that out for you, and then it includes the anonymous comments that your classmates left you for your presentation. So look for that in the Dropbox later on this week. The report will probably just be graded by the rubric. I'll probably include some comments, but probably not too much. There's just 2 regular labs that are going to be graded. Those will probably just be rubrics that are entered in. They're probably later this week. At any time now, I could update the lab notebook scores and discussion participation scores. If you consistently showed me your laboratory notebook every week, you're going to get all the points for the lab notebook. That's not a big deal. Discussion participation has to do with your participation on the discussion forums. So if you've not been doing so great on participating in the discussions, you still have a little bit of time to make some of that up. Go back, post a meaningful question, or maybe an answer to somebody else's question in some of those discussions. That might score you a couple of points here or there. And then that last mastering chemistry assignment. So my goal is always to have all the grades entered and finished by Friday, okay, of this week. So unless something happens, you should be able to see all your grades and your final course letter grade on Friday. Okay. Anybody have any questions for that?